What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and we've been talking about the run game, Breece Hall, Justin Fields, Braylon Allen a lot recently, so I did want to go back over to the other side of the ball today and talk a little bit more about the defense, which I am really excited about. I mean, the Jets defense has been a good unit over the last couple of years in the previous regime with guys like Saleh with a defensive mindset and things of that nature. But I really believe Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilks as the defensive coordinator are coming in and are going to bring a new style of defense. And you've heard about this identity for a while. You've heard about Aaron Glenn using this words of competitive and physical and aggressive, but like versatile as well. So I want to dig into that a little bit and not only give you some quotes like I usually do, some stats like I usually do, but try to explain what I think the concept is going to look like and why it is different from what the Jets defense has been over the last couple of years. But let's start with Steve Wilks, okay? Back at the end of minicamp, he was talking about some of the rookies that he sees, the Malachi Moores, the Isaiah Thomases, and kind of their fit on defense, and also what his style looks like it is going to be. Remember, we have talked about him saying before that he's trying to get players that fit that style. Let's hear what Steve Wilks had to say. He goes, those guys compete. You saw it with AZ against Garrett, knocking the ball down. Those guys are very competitive and they fit our DNA. Our identity of our defense is not only how physical our front seven is. Everybody thinks that. The identity and how physical we are is going to be on the back end with our corners and our safeties stepping up and making tackles. I think that's interesting. Remember, they also challenged Sauce at one point. Aaron Glenn talked about how he could be a little bit better of a tackler. I think these cornerbacks will tackle the tall, lanky guys that can get up in the run game a little bit. I think that's really important. And Wilks' defenses, listen, they have had at different times, they've led the NFL in interceptions. They've been tops in the league in sacks. Look, in 2015 with Carolina, his defense led the league with 24 interceptions. In 2017 in Carolina, they were third in the NFL in sacks, right? So we have that idea of him being able to lead kind of aggressive defenses that turn the ball over. But here on Jets Latest, one of the things I have said a lot as it relates to the cornerbacks, Sauce Gardner, Brandon Stevens, AZ Thomas, they're all tall, they're all lanky, they are all fit for press man coverage. If you watch Jets Latest, I have said a ton that last year, Aaron Glenn's defense in Detroit played man coverage almost 61% of the time. It was the highest rate in the NFL, okay? And the Jets didn't do that as much, right? But I think another piece of this is really going to add to the pass rush. I've talked to you about Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, who I think are two good young edge rushers. Obviously, we all know about Q in the middle as well. But another change in this defense schematically that I expect is the Jets to actually blitz more. Okay, I've given you the stats with Detroit as per the man coverage, but check this out. In 2024, the Lions blitzed 38.4% of the time. That was the third highest rate in the NFL. The Jets, by contrast, only blitzed 26% of the time, only 21st in the NFL, right? So not only does the Aaron Glenn defense play more man coverage, they also blitz more. Steve Wilks, in his history, also usually it averages something like 36% where he blitz. So these guys, Glenn and Wilks, both come from a cloth where they blitz the quarterback, bring extra men. And guess what? That also fits with press man coverage that is lanky. Because if the quarterback has to get the ball out of their hands quickly, it's good to have close, good man corners, right? That are lanky if they gotta, cover for maybe hopefully a short period of time. But here's the part about the blitz that I think is really important. The Jets did not blitz a ton. I told you about that. 21st rate in the NFL. However, the linebackers they have, Quincy Williams, Jamian Sherwood, what are they all based on? Speed, right? Their ability to get to the quarterback is actually pretty good. They didn't do it a ton, but when they did it, they were effective. Check this out. Sherwood has 12 pressures on only 53 career pass rush snaps. That's a pressure rate of 22.6%. Quincy Williams has 48 pressures on 237 pass rush snaps, a pressure rate of 20%. The league average for linebackers was 17%. So both of these guys, Sherwood and Quincy, actually, when they blitz, get pressure more than the league average. Okay, so they are more effective than normal if they blitz. They just didn't do it as much last year. So if they are doing it more, they can get home. The young edge rushers are there, Q in the middle, and tight, sticky man coverage. That is a recipe for a problematic defense for any quarterback to see. If you're getting pressure on you and these cornerbacks are sticking on your wide receivers, that is a problem. And I think, again, Wilkes and Glenn being intentional about who they want to be, right? And I really think that they have the assets, the players, the personality to implement that scheme, which I think is going to be very different and very interesting. The Jets played less man and they blitzed less, and we are going to see more of that, and they have the players to do it. So I think that's really, really interesting. We're going to see not only Jermaine Johnson getting sacks, not only McDonald getting sacks. He had more than 10 last year, but I think we're going to see Quincy Williams and Sherwood blitzing a lot more, and that also is to that other piece of versatility, right? So that they can come from anywhere. And then when you got safeties like a Malachi Moore, when you got a guy like a Michael Carter who is versatile, can go anywhere, where you have a Brandon Stevens who can play corner or safety, right? That allows you to disguise and do different things on the back end as well with that pressure coming. So I'm really excited to see what that Jets defense is going to look like. The Jets defense will obviously also be anchored by all-pro cornerback Sauce Gardner. We talked about how Sauce was literally rated the top corner in the entire league by PFF. We all know that we believe here on Jets Latest that he is primed for a contract extension. We hope he gets that. But listen to what Sauce had to say about what he is looking for and his goals for his next year here in 2025 with the Jets. He goes, being a leader, leading even more, making sure I lead by example and influence everybody, and catching more picks. And I feel like I have the coaches around me, the guys around me to make that happen. You see Sauce's PFF grades, top in the league, 91.9, a league high 46 incompletions, a league low yards per cover snap, right? And talking about how he is going to have, in my opinion, even more opportunity for interceptions, okay? Because he's playing more man coverage, and because, quarterbacks are going to be under pressure, and actually converting on those picks is definitely a goal of his. I actually believe his stats will look a little bit better. If you remember, in a previous episode of Jets Latest, I talked about him as 75-1 to win Defensive Player of the Year, which I think is a long shot, as it's 75-1, but also within the realm of possibility because Surtain won it last year as a cornerback. It's not always an edge rusher, and the scheme is going to allow him to make more plays statistically than he did last year. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm really excited to see what this Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes defense looks like, where it should have more pressure on the quarterback, more blitzing, more aggression, and more confusing elements because of our versatility on the back end. So that'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. As always, watch these videos, like these videos, subscribe to the Jets Latest channel, and tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend. Feel free to comment. I like engaging with you guys, especially green and white fans that are realistic, optimistic, because I think there is a real opportunity here for optimism to feel good about the direction of the green and white, starting with this regime and starting with 2025. But if you want more from me, Spittin' Statistician Dane Martinez, hit me up on social media, X at Spittin' Speeds. I'm also the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on SiriusXM. I tell you about it all the time. We're getting ready for fantasy football now that we are in July. I can't believe it. Fantasy football drafts are on the horizon. FTN Fantasy is a great website with a lot of great content, tools, data, all sorts of stuff to help you be a better fantasy player and a better sports bettor. Speaking of sports betting, I am also the host of In Game Live, which is a live betting show over on Sports Grid, which is a great sports betting streaming channel. You can see me a couple of nights a week there as well, looking around all the action, trying to find opportunities for you in the live betting markets. But if you are just down with the green and white, and thank you to everybody who watches, subscribes, and who is a true green and white Jets fan, we will be back here like usual, giving you all of the content, all of the insights, everything we are seeing about the 2025 Jets as we look forward to training camp, which gets going in a couple of weeks. We will be back here talking about it all, but for now, we out of here. Have a good one. Peace.